Before we go anywhere, before the story even begins, take 1 second right now and subscribe. Not later. Not after the video. Right now. Because what you're about to hear is not just a coin story. It's a journey through power, politics, metal, and hidden value that most people walk past without ever knowing what they missed. Subscribe, stay with me, and listen closely. Picture this. A small, dull-looking coin resting in the palm of a man's hand. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't scream luxury. No diamonds. No crown jewels. Just a modest half-penny from South Africa, dated 1960. Most people would glance at it and toss it aside. Some would say it's pocket change. Others would say it's worthless. And that reaction right there is exactly why the story matters, because real value doesn't announce itself. Men who have lived long enough understand this. You've seen bubbles rise and crash. You've seen trends come and go. You've learned that what lasts is really loud. And this coin, this halfpenny from 1960, comes from a moment in history when the ground was shifting beneath an entire nation's feet. 1960 was not just another year. It was a turning point. South Africa stood at the edge of transformation, tension, and global attention. Old systems were tightening their grip while new forces were already pushing back. The world was watching. Economies were adjusting. Power was being challenged. And in the middle of all this coin was struck. Think about that. This piece of metal was minted while history was happening in real time. While headlines were being written. While futures were being decided behind closed doors. This coin passed through hands that worked mines, farms, factories, and ports. Hands that built, struggled, fought, and survived. It bought bread. It paid for transport. It lived in pockets of men who understood the value of hard work. The halfpenny itself was never meant to impress. It was designed for function, not flash. That's what makes it dangerous to underestimate. Look closer, and you start to notice details most people miss. The weight. The feel. The balance. The metal composition chosen for a specific economic reality. Governments don't choose metals randomly. Every decision reflects supply, control, and intent. In 1960, South Africa was deeply connected to global resource markets. Metals mattered. Currency mattered. Control mattered. This coin represents the last breath of an era before major monetary change. Before decimalization. Before systems were redesigned. Before the old way of valuing money was replaced by something new. Coins like this were not made to last forever. They were made to circulate, to wear down, to disappear, and most of them did. That's where scarcity begins. Men understand scarcity instinctively. You know that when something stops being made, its story doesn't end. It begins. The halfpenny was already losing relevance even as it was born. Inflation, modernization, and policy shifts were quietly pushing it toward extinction. People stopped caring. Coins were melted, lost, discarded, but a small number survived, and survival changes everything. Collectors don't just collect metal. They collect moments frozen in time. They collect symbols of transition. And the 1960 South African halfpenny sits right at the intersection of old world currency and a new economic reality. It represents the final echo of a system that would soon be gone. Now imagine this coin untouched. Preserved. Not worn down by decades of circulation. Not damaged by careless hands. A coin that somehow escaped the fate of millions of others. That kind of survival is not luck. It's rarity compounded by time. This is where most people stop thinking, and that's their mistake, because value is not only about how many exist. It's about who wants them and why. Serious collectors, historians, and high-level investors don't chase hype. They chase significance. They chase objects tied to moments that cannot be repeated. 1960 cannot be repeated. That year marked international scrutiny, internal unrest, and economic recalibration. Coins minted during such periods become silent witnesses. They don't speak, but they remember. And those who know how to read them understand exactly what they're holding. Men in their 40s, 50s, 60s know this lesson well. You've seen ordinary objects turn extraordinary because of context. Classic cars, vintage watches, old firearms, paper documents. Coins are no different. In fact, coins are purer. They are untouched by opinion. They are official. They are recorded. They are real, and thus have penny carries something else. Contradiction.it was a low-value coin born in a high-stakes year. A small denomination minted during massive political and economic tension. That contrast alone makes it fascinating. It tells a story of everyday life continuing while history thundered overhead. Imagine a worker buying a newspaper with this coin while reading headlines that would shape the nation. Imagine a shopkeeper counting these coins at the end of the day, unaware that decades later, men across the world would search for one example in pristine condition. Time as a way of turning the insignificant into the irreplaceable. Condition matters. That's another lesson men understand. A tool well maintained is worth more than one abused. The same applies here. A half penny from 1960 in exceptional condition becomes something entirely different from one that's worn smooth, edges sharp, details clear, original surfaces intact. No cleaning, no damage, no compromise. That's when collectors lean forward, because now, the coin isn't just old. It's rare in a way that matters, and rarity attracts money, not casual money. Serious money. The kind that moves quietly. The kind that waits patiently. The kind that doesn't chase trends but builds legacy. Collections meant to outlive the buyer. This is where the story becomes uncomfortable for some people. Because it forces a question: how many valuable things have we overlooked in our lives because they didn't look impressive at first glance? This coin challenges that instinct. It reminds us that true worth often hides behind modest appearances. That power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and the whisper gets louder with time. As decades passed, fewer and fewer of these coins remained in collectible condition. Each year, another one disappeared. Lost to corrosion. Melted. Forgotten in jars. Thrown away during moves. Damaged beyond recovery. The supply shrank quietly. Demand, however, did not. Collectors specializing in African coinage know the importance of transitional years. Investors looking for tangible assets understand the appeal of historic currency. Museums seek representative examples. Private